Sundress and a golden smile. She's a sweetheart in a little while, and she speaks soft like a lullaby. And she just turned 23.
Good morning.
Good morning, sunshine.
How are
Long
you
time no
today?
see.
Yeah, no kidding. It's been a whole week that we haven't seen each other
Yeah,
in this format.
in this format. We always see each other in a square, though. Did you realize that?
It always is a square.
Every
Until one
single
day,
time.
the doors will open at the Minneapolis St. Paul airport, and Patrick emerged with feathers and a boa,
Oh,
thinking he was bigger than life.
okay.
Mario quickly looked at him and started thinking he's not enough for him.
Oh,
And
shit.
his mind started racing, thinking of all the possible things he could have did better that day.
Oh, so I got you overthinking here.
Just a little bit. Always. Dude, I'm an overthinker in general. We should really do today's episode about overthinking in general.
All right. Yeah, good.
Like,
Let's do
just-
that.
I think the term overthinking, I think there's like thinking, like, I got a lot of things in my mind today. And then
Yeah.
there's overthinkers in general.
Yeah.
Don't you agree?
I mean, I do. If you didn't know, I got it tattooed on my chest.
Yes, you do. And overthinkers is it's a curse when you're an overthinker. I think overthinkers, overthinkers, as you mentioned in the past, are overpleasers because they're
Yep.
always trying to outdo themselves. They're always trying to do better and whatnot. At what age do you think you knew or you started feeling like you were an overthinker? If you were to look back.
Oh, that's a good question. I feel like saying I was probably an overthinker for a long time, but I realized it maybe 4 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to tell me. Well, when I was 3, I was dating this girl who was in 5th grade.
Yeah.
Wow, 4 years ago, huh?
Yeah, I think so. I've always been an overthinker, and I guess I always questioned, why I was always thinking like that. Never really knew what it was. I didn't even know that term existed, by the way. Didn't even know it was a thing. So only up till I would say like 4 years ago that I started realizing that I would overanalyze things and it would put me in this loop in my head where I just can't shut it off. And I think that's when I realized.
Level? Like where were you? Give me a.
Where was I? I mean, I was
relationship worse. Was it a relationship?
Yeah, always relationships, mostly relationships. And I mean relationships. When I say relationships, with a lover, with friends, with colleagues, with a boss, like an employer, things like that. Always had to do with relationships and like where was I? I was that kind of guy that would replay a moment in my head like 100 times, just wondering, what did I miss? What did I say wrong? Where can I go wrong next? I mean, these were all thoughts that were kind of racing through my head, I guess.
Yeah. I wonder if it goes back to like the first time you go for a job interview or some, like you're raised, your parents accept you for who you are. And then in life you get older. Like I just think back as you were talking, I'm like, when was the first time? Because I worked for my dad for many years, different businesses. He was my dad, right?
Yeah.
But then when I had to go apply for a job, I applied at a grocery store. I was going to bag groceries and I had to sit down and do an interview with a random person that was judging me, not judging me, but I had an application and I had to, what am I going to say? I had to wear different clothes and then you leave there and you're like, I wonder how that went. Am I going to get hired? I think that's when it starts, when you have to start putting yourself to the world and making the world see you in a different way where everyone else accepted you before. And I think that's where it kind of
like as soon as there's judgment is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Kind of?
Well, and even but it's not from others. It's usually from yourself. Like you're judging.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But as soon as they're like others, like, I wonder how that made me look, unless you grew up in a family with complete hippies that don't care about anything. You're living in a commune and everyone's, running around in loincloths and everyone's like loving each other, which is beautiful, which is really beautiful. But I think that's what it is. I think society starts, well, this person did it like this. And, you see, I don't know. For me, I'm looking back at that.
Do you think like overconfident people or, overconfident people, do you think overconfident people have a tendency to overthink?
Oh God, that's a good question. Do we have anybody that we can call? And ask them?
I don't know. I just question, because
I don't know.
I wonder
If
if
they're
it's like a
overconfident, do you think they overthink?
Yeah.
Or do you think that they think they know everything, so they just don't think about
So they're
anything
just like,
else?
I don't care about your opinion at the end of the day, so why would I overthink
Can you
it?
imagine someone that's overconfident and an avoidant in the same body? Oh my gosh, that would be.
Yeah, that'd
I
be
wouldn't
scary.
want to be around that person, dude.
I just feel like overthinking sometimes. It just feels like it looks quiet on the outside,
Hmm.
but it's like super chaotic on the inside.
Do you think overthinking is like a form of control? Maybe a control, like controlling yourself and trying to control others.
Probably. I think I think a lot of overthinkers, they overthink because they're scared of getting hurt. There's that fear of abandonment maybe or rejection, and
Rejection, yeah.
you do it because you don't want to get hurt in the future.
Yeah, I agree.
I think I'd put it like that, because like if I look at myself, the times that I was overthinking, it was like I was overthinking about situations that could happen in the future. It wasn't like I wasn't in the present moment.
Yeah. And then let's not forget overthinking's wicked step cousin, anxiety. Because
Of course, yes, it is.
as soon as the overthinking kicks in, then anxiety shows up, and anxiety
Yeah.
makes you believe all the different, the possible outcomes of all your thoughts. Like, well, this
100%.
happens, and this happens, and this happens, and this happens. And I really think that overthinking is harder in relationships. I really believe that and I don't mean just friendships. I mean, well, maybe friendships too. Like,
Yeah, friendships too,
if I
100%.
if I were to text you and not answer, like not now these days,
I leave you on red.
Unread. Oh my God, I have actually. I texted recently a friend of mine. I'm like, can you turn on, because you still don't have yours on, by the way.
No.
I said, can you turn on your red receipts? Because it just, my brain, it likes that. Like, it just makes me sure that you got that. I really enjoy that. But in the past, that was a big thing for me. Did they see it? Why aren't
read
they
receipt?
answering me?
Yeah.
And I can literally think of situations recently within probably the last 24 hours that I started overthinking, but I caught myself really quickly. And that's the big thing, is trying to, figure out when you start overthinking and knowing and that's another question. How do you know you're overthinking? Like, how do you know you're overthinking? Because when you're overthinking, your mind's making you believe that everything you're thinking is true.
Well, yeah, I think when you're like replaying conversations or rehearsing worst case scenarios, that would be probably one of the things. But let me ask you this though. So I woke up this morning, saw that you called me last night, but I was already in bed. Did you overthink that?
No.
No. Okay.
Not
Not that bad.
The time change helps me. It's like,
Yeah.
what time is it here? It's 11 midnight. He's sleeping.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
no way you got this.
No. I was sleeping. I woke up this morning. I'm like, oh shit, I missed the call. But yeah, I think the moment like you start replaying conversations or rehearsing worst case scenarios, you definitely know that you're overthinking there. But like, I don't think overthinking is the problem. I think it's the symptom, right? And like you said, it comes from further than that. It comes from like, I think it's a coping mechanism for uncertainty or probably like past trauma, the fear of rejection, the fear of abandonment. It's not the actual problem. And like I said, I think that you taking a selfie, bud?
No. Am I taking a selfie?
Yeah, you look like you were taking a selfie.
No, I was reaching for my morning cocktail.
This episode is brought to you by Morning Cocktail.
I want V8 to sponsor us. What are you drinking? Where's your Starbucks cup, dude? That's your.
It's right here. I have two.
Okay.
So I didn't have time to eat breakfast this morning.
Yeah.
And guys, we're doing it again. We're sidetracking. We'll get back to what I was saying before. This is Oikos Pro, 24 grams of protein.
What is it? Oikos?
It's yogurt.
Oh, Yoikos.
Oikos. It's yogurt,
Oikos.
but like with
It's
24
Oikos.
grams.
It's
24
Oikos
grams
from
of
Ireland.
protein.
The Irish breakfast. Oikos. A little bit of whiskey and a little bit of Guinness in your morning breakfast.
There you go.
25 grams of protein.
There you go.
So, Oikos, if you're listening,
Please sponsor us.
You know what to do.
A very good breakfast. Quick, easy.
I love my V8 energy in the morning. Right here. See?
Interesting.
I'm
It's
showing
like an
it on
energy
camera
drink.
because I want them to sponsor us, dude.
Okay, go for
V8
it.
energy.
Go for it. Ask for the sponsor gods.
Let it out there, and the world will provide.
Hear you.
Okay,
You got it.
And we're back to overthinking.
And we are back to
Has
overthinking.
anyone? So during that shameless commercial break, did anyone overthink when we were going to come back and talk about the topic? I know Neha did. 100%. For sure, Naya is like, come on, guys. I scripted this out.
There's some people that are definitely like, they do this all the time. They always sidetrack.
You know what? If you don't like that we sidetrack and that we talk about different things, I really believe that you need to not listen to this podcast because that's who I am.
Our subscription base just went down.
Anything besides people accepting me for who I am. Oh my God.
Are you setting boundaries, bro?
I'm setting boundaries, and now I'm overthinking of all the people that are listening. They're upset that I said that. Damn it. I just put myself in a box.
Yeah, you did. So going back to it, like you're overthinking when you're doing those things. Like when you go back to that pattern. So I think it's really easy to realize when you're doing it. Unless you don't know you're doing it, but that could be an issue too. Like
I disagree with you.
Oh.
There's no way that you just I think I'm overthinking. No, there's no way.
You don't tell yourself that?
That you're overthinking? Now I do, but no.
Oh my God.
If you're not a trained sensei like us, I'm not a trained sensei, but you know what I mean. Like when you're overthinking.
Yeah.
Perfect example. Do you want me to give you an example about last night? I'll give you an example.
Sure. Let's do it.
I overthinked last night.
What happened?
So my partner was out doing some stuff in the woods with a friend of hers. They were collecting some sounds, and I'm not going to get into details, but it was for the DNR. It was for the ministry. What is it in Canada? The Ministry of Natural Resources. So that's our DNR. Okay. So they were doing some stuff, some data collection and whatnot. And they had to travel into an area where there was no reception. So they had to go like way in the woods, but it was late. It was like 10:30 at night because they have to go at night because they're listening to the sounds frogs are making. Don't ask questions. She loves frogs, but
to each his own.
So and they have to do it 3 times a year. So they went out and they were collecting sounds and they have to write them down. They have to record in this special thing and then they have to send it into the DNR to make sure that frogs are mating. I guess I don't know. So it's like a 10:30 and I'm like, wow, this is getting late, and then 11:30 shows up and I'm like, and I look at her, to see where she is, and middle of the woods, like literally middle of trees in location. And it was able to see where she was 50 minutes ago. 50. Okay. So now she's in the middle of the woods, 11:30 at night. All I hear is Jack the Ripper music playing in the background. I see Bubba showing up on his in his pickup truck. He's like, "Hi, ladies. My name is Bubba. This is my," I'm getting to the point where I'm thinking all these different scenarios that are happening. There's 2 young women in the woods. It sounds like a 1980s horror film, right? They're going to be brought back to this shed and they're going to be mutilated. And then they're going to find the bodies down the road. So my brain's giving me all these different descriptions of, this is getting late. And then I start adding my own in. I would never put myself in a situation to make her think that I was being harmed and da-da-da-da-da. And then my brain kept on just adding different things to saying, well, what if this and what if that and what if this? And I remember at one point thinking about, it's probably when I text you. I probably around that time.
Honestly, I wasn't going to say, but I'm like, that's when you called me.
Exactly.
So for sure,
that was
you were
the time
panicking.
that I text you. And I think at that point, what I was going to do is like text you and see if you're up. Are we podcasting tomorrow? What I was doing is I was distracting myself to come back to reality to be able to say everything's fine.
And you needed me to tell you that it was okay. That's what happened.
But I don't think I was going to tell you at that moment. Like I was just going to try to distract myself basically on, hey, let's talk about something else. Brain. So what I did is I identified my brain. I identified my brain as, hey, dude, you're overthinking right now. Call Pat. He overthinks all the time. And just talk to him for a bit, So that's what I was doing. So I think that's a technique in itself. Like if you find yourself overthinking and then you realize that you're overthinking and your brain's giving you all these possible scenarios that are making you feel worse, get out of it by trying to call Pat. And we'll put his number on the screen here. If you're on YouTube, we'll put his personal cell phone.
Right there.
Call somebody in your life that maybe you can just talk to for a minute and say, I'm over, you don't have to tell them you're overthinking, because overthinkers, they don't want to tell people, hey, I'm overthinking and I have some anxiety right now.
Why not though?
You just because you just add one more overthought in your head. Now that person is
judging you.
You know what I mean? It's just that vicious circle. When you're in it, you're in it. When you're in the thick, you're in the thick. So that's a perfect example.
I guess I'm at the point now where I'm okay with saying it. Like I'm okay with telling someone, hey, listen, I'm kind of overthinking right now. I need a minute, or I need your advice.
Yeah.
I guess when you're so in touch with like your emotions, dude, like you just feel everything to like its maximum, right?
Yeah.
You just realize everything, and it comes back. We've talked about this before on another episode. It was the three C's, right? The catch it, check it, change it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You catch the feeling that you're overthinking. You check it. You start thinking, is this really what I'm doing right now? And then if that's what you're doing, you change it. You bring your thoughts to something else.
Yeah.
You know,
I agree. I agree.
I
When's
think
the
the
last time you
overthinking.
overthought something?
Oh, dude,
This
yesterday.
morning. Okay, well, I gave you my example. Like, how did it start and how did it end for you?
Well, again, it's kind of, I'm still dealing with the breakup, right? Still dealing with the
Mhm.
breakup. So, right now I'm still in that vibe of just overthinking where I went wrong, what I did wrong. And
Still?
yeah, dude, I mean, it's these, it's these seasons. It's
Mm-hmm.
not all the time. It just, I'll get like a pop up of something, that comes back and, oh, reminder. And then it puts me back in that loop. But the difference now than before is before I would lose sleep over it. You know what I mean? Like it would drive me nuts. And now I'm able to just like, I think about it and then I change to something else. I think of Mel Robbins with the let them theory.
Let them.
I usually come back to that.
Yeah.
So there's this woman that I follow on TikTok. She specializes. I want to say she specializes in avoidant attachment styles,
Okay.
and she records these messages as if she was talking to someone, like apologizing for being an avoidant.
Oh wow, that's cool.
And I've literally saved
That's
one of
really
her
cool.
messages, and I will sometimes just listen to it to remind me that like I didn't do anything wrong, and I'll listen to her voicemail just to remind myself that like I'm good. Like there's these tactics that I've developed, I guess, in the
Yeah.
past few years that now I do that I can check it. So, but yeah, I have a tendency to overthink. It's not crazy. Like I don't get to the point where I'm paralyzed anymore, which I think that's where I did a lot of
Yeah.
progress. Because before, man, I'm telling you, sometimes, dude, it would
Same.
paralyze me like
Yeah.
crazy. I would literally just like sit on my couch
Mm-hmm.
with my phone, and then I'll have Netflix on,
Yeah.
music on my laptop, and I'd be looking at TikTok.
Dude, oh my God. I can't believe this is the first time we've said this together on like exactly the same.
Yeah.
Maybe not the music. There's this we have a channel here called Miramax
Okay.
on the TV. It's like live TV. Miramax is the channel that is playing probably in the hospitals when you're in the hospital or in the waiting room. That's just it's the same movies every day. Like at 2:00 today, Braveheart's going to be on. I know the Braveheart's going to be on Miramax. It's like the dude shows up on Monday, hits play, and it just plays for a week. But for me, so I actually called it Miramax therapy to my therapist once because I would put Miramax on in the background because it was the consistent movies all the time. The sound is not good. It's like really it's
Yeah.
like that tinny sound. The commercials are all the same. Every commercial is the same. So I put that in the background and get on the phone, doom scroll. And, sometimes I would see something that would make me laugh and I'd be like, oh, okay. But that was my therapy. I would have to have that stuff. But that was my question to you. My next question is like, what helps break the cycle when you're when you're overthinking? That's what it is for me and for you.
Yeah, that's where the three C's come in. The
Yeah.
three C's, catch it, check it, change it. So when I realize I'm doing that, I'll get up, I'll shut everything off, I'll go do something else. Like usually that's me going for a walk with Brutus. I'll go change, I'll go grab
Nice.
some air. I feel like in those moments, I don't know if you've ever had a burnout or depression, but
Really?
it kind of feels. It was a rhetorical question, Bobby.
Gotcha.
So
I'm like, do you listen to anything I say?
do you listen to the podcast, bro?
Yeah, exactly. We have a podcast. You should listen to it sometime.
That was rhetorical. So it feels like a burnout in those moments. Like it feels like depression, when you overthink so hard that you paralyze, and then the self doubt comes in, and again it leads us back to anxiety, right? So a lot of those emotions are very, very negative, and so when I'm in them, now it's just like I got to get out. I got to get out. I cannot stay in this because I know what happens if I stay in this.
Right. Do you okay, so you mentioned the relationship. What else do you think triggers an overthinker in your mind? I have some examples. I just want to ask you, what other things do you think trigger overthinking?
Other like other than relationships?
Other than relationships, here, I'll give you my example. So like, for example, money triggers overthinking for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You start thinking, like you were talking about your job here last week when you went on something and it didn't turn out to be what it's supposed to be and da da da. And then you're like, like if you're not going to make what you expected on that job, and then you start thinking, well, shit, I just paid for that vacation and I just did this, I just bought this. Like that for me can trigger an overthinking
100%.
Cycle.
Yeah.
100%. So what are other things that you think that you've been
I'd
in
say
situations?
performance.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd put performance in there. You
In the
you
bedroom.
go try. Yeah, it could be in the bedroom, 100%. I mean, there is performance anxiety that does exist.
Yep.
It could be like, you're trying a new sport. I don't know. You're going to take salsa dances for the first time.
Exactly.
You
Me
get there, you're
yesterday.
like, what are people going to think? Am I going to be able to follow? Is the person that I'm going to be with is going to enjoy this? Yeah, of course, you
Mhm.
could overthink in a lot of things. So yeah, I think it could even be planning stuff, dude. Like just straight up planning stuff. Like you go on vacation, you start overthinking how the
Mhm.
vacation's going to go. Like, oh, I want this, I want to do this, I want to do that, and then am I going to have time to do this? And la la la. How's the plane ride going to be? That you could overthink so many things, dude.
But so I'm sitting here listening to you, dude, and it shows me that you're very responsible. Like almost thinks that, like when you say, like, if an overthinker is like, maybe I should, I really want to go play in traffic right now, but maybe I shouldn't. And if I go play in traffic, I might get killed. And blah blah blah. Like situations where overthinking could help you in the situation. Like I think in life, getting
It's
through
not.
life. I mean, what if that's just your brain's way of giving you options?
That's why I don't see overthinking as being negative. Like to me, it's attention to detail, it's being a good planner, it's being a deep thinker, which
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'd put that in very good qualities. I don't think those are bad qualities.
No.
When you've got that attention to detail and you're planning ahead, it's such a good thing to have. I consider that.
Yeah, because
So
people with like ADHD, like myself, or high functioning autism, or different things, different neurodivergence that make you perceive life a little bit differently. Where you're overthinking the details. I think that's a good thing. And that's what I wanted to reiterate that this is, we're not talking about overthinking being a bad thing here. It's it's a bad thing when it takes over your psyche and your emotions and the possible outcomes. It's one thing to overthink scenarios on how to make your life better, but it's another thing when you're believing the outcomes that your brain is giving you, and then you start feeling shitty about the outcomes that it's giving you, and then you just keep on going down that cycle.
listen, I'm no doctor, but I feel like I want to say this. Overthinking, to everyone who's listening right now, overthinking is not a bad thing. If the overthinking becomes paralyzing and you no longer can function, I think that's a sign of a deeper issue.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because overthinking, I want to say I think it's normal. It's when it becomes too intense that there might now be signs of burnout or
Yeah.
depression or, bigger issues.
Yeah.
Because I think everybody has tendencies of
Mm-hmm.
overthinking. Again, like I said, it's not a problem, it's not a sickness. Okay. A lot of people think that overthinking is a sickness. It's not. It's a symptom of something else. But when it gets too intense, then yes, maybe you should go consult, because
Yeah.
overthinking, if you know you're doing it, it could easily be managed and you can still function.
Right.
But when it becomes, again, paralyzing, maybe go see somebody.
And classic overthinking, just like Pat said just right now, I said, when's the last time you were overthinking? And he said the relationship. And
Yeah.
that's classic overthinking right there. Like
Yeah.
in my conversations with Pat, um, he understands and clearly sees that the relationship was a one-sided ending. It wasn't him. He can overthink every possible outcome, but I was a true witness of that relationship. I seen it on a daily basis. And, you know, overthinking that relationship is classic overthinking. I would never tell Pat, you need to stop overthinking that, because the pain is still real. Just because he may have the actual facts of the situation, it doesn't mean that the pain is not real. So if you're in a situation where you're overthinking something in a relationship, in your job, in something, it may be a real understanding that you did not do anything wrong at all. but the pain is real. So I think you need to back up the situation a little bit and start feeling that pain and healing the pain, heal that inner person in you, the little kid that's really scared right now and not understanding why this happened. So it goes back to the whys, the why me and the why this, where you should be asking yourself, what did I learn on that why, and how could I move forward and not get there again, and try to understand why I'm there. And you're going to get there again, but how do I adjust, and how do I coexist with these feelings? You know what I mean?
I agree with that. And here's the thing. I'm not overthinking just about the last relationship. You know, this
Mhm.
breakup, you know, triggered something inside me. It's not just thinking about the last relationship. Now I'm thinking of all my relationships.
Yeah.
Why, you know, the past few relationships always end this way. And of course it makes you question stuff. So it triggers a lot. And wasn't it last week? Last week we talked about inner peace. And I think in that episode we talked about people jumping from one relationship to another.
Mm-hmm.
This will lead me back to this, because if, let's say you just broke up with someone, some people know that they're going to overthink way too much. So what do? Distractions.
Totally.
They'll jump to a brand new relationship, or
Mhm.
they'll call back an ex. They'll you know, retext someone in the past, and
Absolutely.
it's just because they don't want to overthink. They want to keep their mind off things, and so they jump to something new, something fresh, something
Mhm.
distracting. And I think what you just said is amazing, because when whatever happens to you, whether it's a breakup, you lose your job, you're grieving someone passed away, I think the best way to heal it is to just go right through it. Like, just go through the pain, go through the suffering, and when you come back on the other side, you're not healed, but you're much better than before. And so
Right.
next time that happens, you're already 2-3 steps ahead of the last time.
Right.
But the people that use distractions to just like avoid their emotions, that'll catch up to you. That'll catch up to you later on. And so that's why I don't see overthinking as being an issue, because it allows me to feel that emotion, to analyze everything, to understand why I'm feeling this way, what triggered it, and how do I get out of it. So every single time it happens again, hey, I'm, you know, doing a little better.
Yeah, it's a defense mechanism.
It
I
is.
think I
Yeah.
think definitely think it's a defense mechanism. And you know, it's the fight or flight. Like what happens in this situation, and what happens in that situation. And I was texting with a friend yesterday, and I know he's struggling right now, and he didn't tell me why, right? And I know he's busy. He was touring for a while, and I know he's busy, and I texted him. I said, hey, just so you know, you don't have to do it all. Like, don't forget the most important people. Like, you don't have to do every show. You know,
Yeah.
you can cancel a night. You can do this and that. Just don't forget the most important people. Like, those are the ones that are going to be there when the show's over. Those
Yeah.
are the ones that are going to be there when your broken leg can't let you get on stage anymore. Right.
Right.
And he said he sent me a heart emoji, and then a couple days later I just reached out to him and I said, hey, just checking in. You know, you don't have to answer me. I said, just checking in, seeing how you're doing. He said, I'm really struggling. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through this. But this is the hardest thing I've dealt with ever. So instantly I knew what was going on. Instantly, he didn't have to tell me he's burnt out from the road. He didn't have to tell me, there's financial issues. Instantly I knew probably him and his wife are divorcing. That's where my brain went. Right. And I think that's where your brain would go too, instantly.
So you're even overthinking for others.
I'm
Is what you're saying.
overthinking that. And that's our next show. Part 2 is overthinking for others.
Yeah.
But I was overthinking the situation to prepare myself to be there for him when he's ready. I wasn't overthinking, like making myself anxious. Now,
Right.
your breakup
Yeah.
made me overthink and I got anxious. Like, your breakup literally made me worry about relationships in general, because I know you way better and I just know the way you love. And you just said it a minute ago, you made you overthink about, like, what am I making mistakes, past relationships and stuff like that. People have mentioned to me that on episodes, I can't remember which episode it was, where you're saying that you always open the door for people, the people you love. You always open the door for them.
Mm-hmm.
You always do this and you always do this. Some of the things that you do,
150 reasons why to date me.
yeah, right. Like, is like, I asked someone about the dancing. If you had a bad day and you went home and your husband or partner was saying, hey, we're going to go out for dinner. We're going to go dancing tonight, you know? And she's like, well, what if I didn't want to go dancing? And he set this all up for me already. I'm like, hold on, I got to call Pat. I got to call Pat.
You,
I don't know
you
what
don't do it. Obviously, you don't do it.
But I know you don't do it. But it's just like those things, like you are a level of love that a lot of people don't have. You know, if you read some of the comments, you know, on that show and some of the posts you've been putting recently, it's mixed. It's definitely mixed. I've never seen such mixed comments right now I get towards you, you know, and I think it's good because I think you're stirring the pot. Because most people see you, most people see you as like, oh, he's the fucking love guru, and he, you know, I'm sure any relationship he's in, the women are just like loving everything, you know, and now
that's why I'm single,
the two sides, and you're single, but now they see the two sides of it. Yeah. There's a lot of opposition, and I actually like it. I like the stirring of the pot because it's that opposition and it's getting the conversation going. The best thing about this, it's getting the conversation going. People are talking, and it's making them self-evaluate how they think and how they see life. And I think that's the best part of all this right now. Sucks that you had to go through it. Sorry about that. But
right now, men definitely hate me. So, but here's the thing, though.
Some women too. Did you read something?
Yes, some women too. Some women too.
Not hate you. They don't hate you, dude. It's just more, I disagree with you.
Yeah.
Like, that's not true. It's just like, I didn't hate you when I first saw you on TikTok, but it's like, I hate this dude. You know, it's just like, I don't agree. I don't want you to help me right now. I don't want you to tell me that I need to feel a way where I don't want to feel that way. Right. That's what I love about this.
And here's a side that people don't know there. And obviously we're overthinking this right now, but
I'm not overthinking.
I know. I'm just kidding. The best part about this is that you could ask any of my exes, they could all confirm the things that I'm saying that I do.
Really?
Which is I think my biggest strength is that right now is that I can actually validate these things. It's not just up in the air. You know what I mean? So,
well, little do you know, we have a special guest this morning. We have Sophia on the line, who cannot sit in chairs no more because you put your finger in her butt so many times. Sophia, welcome to the show.
Oh, sorry, Sophia.
Sorry, Sophia.
So yes, I mean, it is definitely happening. We are stirring the pot in that. And here's the thing. Okay. This is a great example because the past me, the old me, would have overthought that stuff like crazy. Should I post it? Should I not post it? Should I post it? Should I not post it?
Oh, yeah.
Now I'm at the point where I just go, post it. And then I throw two fingers in the air.
Yeah. And I've seen that.
Yeah.
Some of your posts, I'm like, wow.
Damn.
Hello.
Listen, post the freaking content. If you got something on your mind, if you want to share something, whatever it is, if you're trying to start social media, post the freaking content. That's all I'm going to say. Because here's the thing, dude. 3 years ago, 3 years ago, somebody, I'm not going to say the name, told me that I would never get past 1,000 followers.
Wow.
And I kid you not. Here we are today with over 500,000 followers on all socials combined. So that's why I'm throwing those fingers up in the air. Post the content. If I was in the States, I'd be living off of this right now. Literally. Yeah. This would be my career. Okay. Now, unfortunately, I'm in Canada, so we don't get a single penny. But if I was in the United States, I would be living off of this content. No word of a lie. So stop overthinking it and just do it.
But we're on the road to that.
We're on the road to that.
Podcast hopefully will do
Absolutely.
Some good numbers for us, and maybe we can have this as a career path
for Canada. For Canada. But I think that overthinking, it's like the point here, you don't have to shut it off. Okay. You don't have to shut it off. It's just, you can't let it run the show. I'm going to put it that way.
Yeah.
Okay. Because overthinking, it's bound to happen. So you just redirect the thoughts. And I think a lot of people, that's why we've done an episode on overthinking. And I think that's why we did a second one, because the comments on that episode were pretty good too. People want to know, how do you fix it? How do you get out of it? Because a lot of us overthink. And again, a lot of overthinkers are anxious attachment.
What about just giving yourself permission to overthink?
That too.
Like,
that conversation we had with Eric. Okay.
Yeah. Giving it a name. Like, I'm overthinking right now. And this is what I expect. I mean, as long as you know you're overthinking and you're just not falling apart. But if you can feel that you're overthinking, going back to exactly what Eric said, it's like Eric's like,
I'm not the overthinker. I'm the person who overthinks.
Yeah.
Right.
But in Eric's mind, because he's Zeus when it comes to stuff like this. You know, I can hear every time I have a situation, I hear
The
Eric,
river.
if the river comes down to the mountain and it has to go around the mountain, Mario, where does it go? It goes through the mountain or over the mountain or side the mountain. We need to have Eric on again.
Yeah, we
miss
do.
chatting. He needs to beat us up. It's been a while.
He could probably beat us up with overthinking, actually.
Do you think so?
I think so.
But again, just give yourself permission to overthink at times too. Like say, hey, or set a timer. Set a timer and say, for the next 15 minutes, I'm gonna let my brain overthink. We're just gonna sit here and overthink. As soon as that timer goes off, I'm gonna go take Brutus for a walk, or I'm gonna go I'm gonna go outside. I'm gonna go do something. You know, in 10 minutes from now, I'm gonna go make myself lunch. And I'm going to listen to some music. I'm going to put that 80s Chicago song on that I wanted to sing for a while. Don't make it a depressing song.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to sing in 10 minutes. But right now, I'm overthinking.
Right.
And this is what we're doing right now. I mean, that might work. But I really feel bad for people that don't, especially in relationships where their partner are, you know, abusive, or their partner is dealing with stuff, man or female, like just dealing with the shit.
Why'd you say man or female?
Man or
why did you say man or female? Why don't you do male and female or man and woman?
Because my meds are kicking in. It's
You're going to get canceled for this.
I just had caffeine. We're going to get canceled for saying man and female?
Just kidding. See, you're overthinking it.
No, you're overthinking. You thought we were going to get canceled.
Let's just be adults and find someone that knows us very well and we can talk to when we're overthinking. Like have that lifeline. I don't want to say well, yeah, kind of.
An overthinker sponsor. Like,
yeah,
you know, where alcoholics have a sponsor that helps them if they are about to relapse.
How about that?
An overthinking sponsor. That's what we're going to do today. Okay, so everyone grab a pencil and write down 5 names of people on a piece of paper that you could would understand if you called them and said, hey, I'm having an overthinking moment. Can we
You got a lot of trustworthy people in your circle, bro.
No, I don't. It's just
5 people? That's crazy, dude. I was going to say like 2.
That is crazy. That's all the people in my circle. What are you
there you go.
About?
That's all I got. That's everyone.
Call all the people in your circle at the same time. But yeah, like I think just finding that person, just like last night, dude. I text you.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't answer though. I was
okay. I was okay. I just went down my list. I text everyone. No.
Where am I on the list? Okay.
What?
Where am I on that list? Am I number 1, number 2?
So the way I judge my people, the way I classify you on my favorites tab.
Yeah.
You know, on the iPhone where you have your favorites.
Yeah.
That's the top 10.
Oh, you have 10?
I have 10 in there.
Holy crap, dude.
Yeah, I do have 10. I need to remove some. And then after a while, it's so stupid, dude. I'll change your classification on there.
Yes, depending
I'll go
on
in there and like put you if you're in like top 4, like you're in the top 5.
Yeah.
And it's usually like, you know, my kids, my family and stuff. And then I have, you know, top 5 is actually really, really high.
And then you're like, today Dante pissed me off. So I mean, he's going to 5, Pat's going to 4.
You're going to 8 today, dude. But that's where my top. And then I was having tea yesterday morning with my friend Jason, and I texted him a couple of days ago, and I said, "Hey, every time we've been around lately, I really feel like you're not present, and I feel like you're just not there, and it makes me think that maybe our relationship or our friendship is like, are you bored when you're around me?" So I just wanted to let you know that, because I think I'm at that point in my life that if I can't say these things to the people that I trust, then we're not true friends. And dude sent me a message back. He was so thankful that we had that that honesty where we can talk back and forth and do that stuff. And the same with you, you know, like if I feel for a second that I'm not in a safe place with you, or if I'm not in that, and you're different because I grew up in Canada. So like there's that Canadian innuendo that goes there that I think some Americans don't have. But yeah, if you don't have the people in your life where you can just say, hey, I need a sponsor right now because I'm overthinking and I'm starting to feel really shitty.
But you just brought up a good point. Have I ever made you feel that way? I'm curious. Like, this is genuine curiosity. Have I ever made you feel as though you couldn't be safe with me?
Never.
Like if we go back to even day 1, bro.
No. Well, no, because I reached out to you first.
Yeah.
I reached out to you. Dude, it's been so long. I think it went like I think I text you on TikTok.
Yeah,
like
you sent me a message.
That's the only way I could. I sent you a message.
Send me a message on TikTok.
Messaged me back. Why did you message me back? What was your okay? You saw a message from me. What did you do next?
Okay, so here's the thing, and this is the same thing that happened with Coop, right? It's the same thing. So you both sent me really, really big messages, okay,
Really?
but they were so different than everybody else. So here's the thing: when I receive a message, it's hi. There's 90% of people just say hi.
Mm-hmm.
I like me people that just get to the point. Don't just don't hi. Like see where just
I remember now.
you sent me this huge message and I was like, oh my God, like for somebody to take the time to write a message like that, it's because it's probably meaningful, right? So I pay way more attention to bigger messages than to just like break the ice, hi, or like things like that. That's the way I am, right? So saw your message. And again, this was back when I had like, I think you messaged me, I had like 50,000 followers.
You're going to get so many messages, dude, in the next
I know now, probably,
Oh
right?
my
Just going to get these
God. Your
huge
inbox,
novels. Shit.
Wow.
But yeah, so it was so much easier to manage, right? I was only getting maybe like 10, 15, 20 messages per day back in the day. So it was easy for me to filter. Okay. Fast forward to now I'm getting between 1,000 and 1,500 messages a day, not a week, not a month.
Are you
1,000?
talking like personal direct DMs or like just comments?
No, DMs and comments is even crazier.
Okay.
Comments, I'll have like 7,000 a day. You can't, and this is where I wasn't ready for this. I don't think I was ready for that. And they don't tell you that when you get to that point, you get that much comments and messages to handle. You just can't do it. And I always said in the beginning, I could probably find a video from way back saying, I don't understand influencers, why they don't respond to
Why don't they respond?
Yeah,
Yes.
I know I said that. I know I said that.
I responded to I would stay up until 1 a.m. when we started Dante's Journey, and I would sit there and comment on
everything.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You know?
And then now it's just, dude, it gets so overwhelming. And then people are like, well, maybe you need an assistant. My assistant couldn't even keep up with this. It becomes completely insane. So what do we do instead? We stop answering. So that's one of the perks when you're subscribed to me. I answer my subscribers. That's one thing that I do. I answer my subscribers as part of the perks. But all this to say that when you contacted me, it was easy for me to manage. And let me tell you, I read the message and we're talking about overthinking. I was overthinking, should I contact this person or not? Because what's in it for me? First things first, is this person is it selfish or setting boundaries? I don't know. That's debatable. Selfish. But I was like, why is this person contacting me? What do they want from me? Because that's a lot of times that's what happens. People,
for sure.
You know what I mean? People contact you because they want something in return. And a lot of my DMs, by the way, when I say a lot of my DMs, there's a lot of people asking for me to match them with someone. A lot of people asking me to, transfer them money as if I was a millionaire, which is definitely not the case. A lot of these messages are very, very pointless. So when you're dealing with all these messages where 95% are going nowhere and it's just like these really silly demands, you don't pay attention to it anymore because there's only 5% that are actually worthy. And I think, I'll be honest, I've probably missed out on very, very interesting messages in the past 2 years because I chose to not look at them anymore. Sure. And that sucks. But so you did that, you and I responded, I believe. And then I think the same day or the day before, we were on the phone with each other. And
I think, it was, I got it back from you. I think what happened is I sent you a message and I was basically telling you, I think I just described, I think if I have to remember, the message was, hey, when I first saw you, I hated, I think I put that in the first line.
That was the first,
I was
message.
Like, hey, when I first started seeing your messages going through some of the worst times in my life, I hated you, but I just wanted to thank you for continuously putting up positive And I think it was very, when I did that message, obviously I was coming from a career of being able to contact people via anyone, I could get a hold of people. And it was like, this is kind of weird for me to be able to send a message. So it almost felt like I didn't want to come off as fan mail. And I wanted to be like, hey, thank you for doing this. And,
dude, I have the messages.
Oh my gosh. Read the first one.
I have them.
I need to hear the first one.
I just found them. So it wasn't, the big messages wasn't right off the bat.
Oh, what did I say first? Hi. I said hi. Hi.
No, I think we started. Maybe you sent this to me when I had WhatsApp. You probably sent this to me on WhatsApp.
No, never. I don't even know I know what WhatsApp is, and I refuse to use it. So I never used WhatsApp.
Or it was by text, maybe. I don't know, because the only thing you sent me. This is February 26th of 2024.
I guarantee you, I emailed.
Probably emailed me. Yeah. February 26, 2024 at 8:27 p.m. You sent "Let's chat, Mario" with your phone number, which I'm not going to say, and your email. And I said, "Hey, Mario, thank you for reaching out." Then you said, "Could we talk by email or IG?" Oh, so it might be on IG. Could be on Instagram too.
Yeah.
And then I said, "Perfect." And then you said, "It's pretty late for you. Do you want to talk tonight? Do you have time tomorrow? I'll be available tomorrow afternoon." I said, "Tomorrow is better." That 2 hour first live was crazy. And then you said, "I'm a fellow Canadian, grew up in Thunder Bay." You just started telling me a bunch of information. And then you gave me your availabilities. And I said, "I'll look forward to talking to you. Thanks for stopping by."
See, that's so weird.
And then here's it. We talked on IG. I think it's on IG.
Okay.
Or no, look, how do we talk on IG? Or can I send you an email, or we can connect on Google Meet?
See, I was being respectful.
So I think,
Usually
and then I gave
FaceTime.
you my email. So it's probably on email. I'm going to find this. I'm going to
Can I
try to
send
find
you
it.
a plane ticket to meet me at the airport so I can harvest your organs?
Sure.
Yeah, and that was weird for me. I think but also because I was in a mental state at that point that I was like, I need to come out of my safe zones and reach out to people that maybe are helping me without knowing. I think my biggest thing, if we just talked once on the phone, I needed you to know that how much you helped me without even knowing me. And I think that was our first conversation. Our first conversation was, "Hey, you don't know me from Adam. However, I need to tell you something, and I just need you to listen for a second. Then you can hang up the phone if you want. But I need to tell you the how powerful it was that you helped me in this situation." And I think after that phone call, it was just we just resonated instantly. It was an instant like connection after that first phone call. And I remember where I had the phone call, and quite frankly, there was an area where I park when I go to this business where I had the phone call with you. And every single time I park in that area, I think about you because I was staring at those trees and there was a picnic table right at the curb. And I remember sitting there talking to you that day, and that stupid tree is still sitting sideways in the parking lot, and it's still there. So every time I park right there, I think about you because I think about our first conversation we had. Isn't that cool?
It is pretty cool. I'm going to find it. I think it's on email.
Bring it home.
Yeah. I remember where I was too, because I was, when I'm on the phone, I don't know if you do this. When I'm on the phone, I constantly walk back and forth.
Oh,
I cannot sit down on a phone call.
Wow.
Like I just walk. Issue. No, it's just, I feel there's more energy. And I learned this in sales, actually. I feel there's more energy when you're standing up and you're walking around. There's like just more energy than when you're sitting down. It's a different vibe. But that was a side note. That was a hell of a side note.
Yeah,
we were talking about overthinking.
Those are good. I mean, that doesn't matter. Like that is overthinking. I overthought making that phone call. I overthought thinking about everything. But in that situation, overthinking really made a giant difference in the trajectory of how my life turned out after I met you. You know what I mean? Like that was a great. Talk about an overthinking being positive. That was a perfect positive overthinking moment. Same with you and Coop. Like when Coop sent you the message, you started communicating with her and you became friends. You got to visit her. Jealous that you got to know Coop and see Coop before me. I don't know how that happened, but
she contacted me first.
Good for you, Coop. But you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, it's those situations. Pat and I have never met in person. I've never gave Pat a real hug. We've cried together. We've shared some of the deepest secrets of our life together. And I've never been able to like sit in a room and watch a movie with this dude or just meet him. Right. And if that tells you how some things in life you just can't explain, but when you meet the people that are supposed to be in your circle and the people, they just show up, And if you're with someone, and you have that feeling like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be with this person, or this person makes me feel like I'm not whole. This person doesn't make me live my full potential of life. People, you're given one shot here. Don't waste it on trying to just get through and to muddle through because, well, maybe, okay, this is good enough. This is good enough. No, you're worth more than good enough. Remember that.
So let me ask you this, because this is a good subject. Do you think that the thing that we think is holding us back is actually trying to protect us?
Oh, no.
No?
I mean, that's
Please explain.
that's my, like, okay, give me a second because I need to think about some of the
Would you like
overthinking
me to repeat
moments
the
that
question?
tried to help me. I think what overthinking does to help you, it helps you get stronger in learning how to deal with overthinking. Does that make sense at all? You know what I mean? Like if you're overthinking,
Say it again.
I think overthinking.
Mhm.
Shit, I forgot already. I think overthinking prepares you, or like when you say if it's making you stronger, right? Is that what you asked me?
Well, the question is the thing that you think is holding you back, is it just protecting you?
Oh, protection. Yeah. So I think it's protecting you. It's preparing you. It's like overthinking is preparing you to.
Oh, did I just got you.
No, there's so much going on in my head right now, dude.
Right?
There's so many things moving. You know,
Yeah.
I think it's a way of protecting you, but it's a little bit further down the road. In that moment, you're not thinking, hey, I'm overthinking all these things right now and it's protecting me. Like you don't think that in the moment, but I think you can look back at those moments and say, oh yeah, maybe that was a way, there was a defense mechanism built into that thing to saying, remember all those things you thought of? None of them happened. Remember that time? And then you're going to overthink it again. It's like all these things. Remember all the things you thought of that time? None of them happened. So I think that is making you stronger.
Okay, but now, other side of the medal. What about everything you thought was going to happen happened?
That would suck really bad.
So let me give you an example. Okay, there's this girl that I was dating for about 2 years. Dating, it was a situationship. You could ask my sister about this. My worst fear was that she was going to announce to me that she was pregnant. I didn't think it was going to happen. This was in my head.
Did you put it out to the world or did it just in your head?
Both. It was in my head. I put it out to the world, and look what happened.
Yeah.
Look what happened. So sometimes the things that are holding us back, or just, I just think that life sometimes tries to teach you a lesson, right? It tries to teach you a lesson, and the more you ignore it,
you a lesson.
Always.
Not sometimes, always.
Always. But the more you ignore it, the more life is going to say, buddy, what don't you understand? And he's just going to keep putting it in your face, right? Like, if you don't understand, I'm going to keep teaching you this lesson until you understand it.
Have you ever put yourself in a situation, dude, where you know it's not the right thing to think and you shouldn't be thinking it, but you do anyway, and then it turns out bad every single time?
Yeah. Well, every single time. I'm not going to say every single time, but of course, and that's the example I just gave you was exactly that.
Yeah, just
you know,
in that situation. But you put it out there. You know, I always go back.
You put
to
it out there, but again, it's
stuff like that. It's like if you tell the universe life sucks and everything's bad and I don't deserve anything, well, that's what the universe is going to give you. It's going to give it all back to you.
100%. But that's what the life lesson was trying to teach me. It was protecting me at the same time. Right. So this was life telling me, Patrick, what don't you understand? Like at this point, you should understand what I'm trying to teach you here. So since you don't, I'm going to give you the worst possible news ever. The thing that you dreaded, I'm going to give it right to you on a silver platter. And that's what happens. So I think that sometimes, yes, the overthinking does protect us. It protects us because it doesn't want us to live that, worst case scenario.
Yeah.
So it's always
a
bad thing.
I guess so.
Not always a bad thing.
What is the lesson learned from this episode?
I would say about overthinking, I would say what's one thing that you can do this week to be kinder to yourself? Because overthinking, as much as I said on this episode that it's not a bad thing, yes, be kind daily, be kind today, be kind to yourself. Like when you reach those moments of overthinking, flip the switch. Try to flip the switch to being more kind to your thoughts, because this is the most freaking powerful muscle in the body, I believe, is the brain, right? It literally drives you. And whatever thoughts you put in there obviously will have a direct impact on the results, the attitude, the energy. And so if you fall into that state when it happens, just try to be a little kinder to yourself.
Just eat that last cookie. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Eat that. Just drink that last whatever.
Dip it in the milk until it breaks up.
The what?
I said, dip it in. These are not citations. I said, dip it in the milk until it breaks up. The last cookie.
Dip it. Let's break that one down for a second here.
The cookie,
Let's
bro.
the cookie. Dip it in the milk till it breaks off.
Yeah.
Got you. What a terrible feeling that is, by the way. You dip it in the milk.
What about you? What's the take on this? What's the take on today's overthinking episode?
I think I was listening to today's episode more than kind of giving a take, because that's the whole point of this podcast. It's like, I feel like we talk. I mean, we talk the same way on this podcast, maybe a couple more curse words when we're on the phone, not on a podcast, but
Sign of intelligence.
we talk the same way. So a lot of the times on these podcasts, just like everyone that, leaves you comments and watches your things. So like a lot of times we have podcasts and I see you, like if you're watching it on YouTube, when I'm speaking at times, I can see when Pat's ready to jump in, and he's very good at not jumping in. But when he's agreeing with me and when he's talking to me, and the same when he's talking, like when he's talking, I'm listening, and then I'm kind of putting myself, there's no script. We don't have a script in front of us. Neha, our showrunner, basically sends us, topics to stay, so we can stay on task, mostly for me. But this is us winging it. So what I take from every show is, it's the conversation I had. And then I also take that, how much progress I've made in my own self, by just listening and talking about the things that I struggle with the most. And I think that's what everyone should take from every show they listen to with us. And, moving forward is, you're a badass. Like you are a badass. Pat just mentioned it. The brain is the biggest muscle. And give it a break once in a while. Like, do something to please yourself. And that what you should take from anything you learn, any life lesson, should just be one little ingredient you put in your life that's going to make who you are. And that's what I get from every show. I get a little bit better. I get a little more wiser. Maybe not the wiser, but I get a little bit better every time we do a podcast and every time we talk about a topic.
What I love is the fact that, like, we can just be given a subject and develop on it for an hour.
Yeah.
Neha
is really good. Our showrunner people is incredible. Like, you should see the email she sends us. Like, it's, I think I told her on a text message, I'm like, that was amazing, but I can only keep up on those things for so long. Like I'll do like a point form. I'll read through it very quickly. And then I take my brain kind of highlights the different areas and puts it in point form for me in my brain. And I also don't want to read too much of it, because if I read too much, or if I ask ChatGPT and like, tell me more about this, it's not me, then it's somebody else. Right.
Yeah.
Pat and I, sometimes at the beginning of a show, when we're going to talk about a topic, we start talking about things, and I'll be like, no, hey, we can't talk right now. Let's just hit record and start talking, because it's more organic that way. So when you're listening to us and this is like a real conversation. And then I feed off the comments as well. When I see comments that are sent to us, I kind of like gauge the negatives, the positives, the hate, everything else. And I put that in that big, some pot of soup, and I mix it all together, and then you get another episode.
I love the hate, by the way. I love the hate because
you're doing something right if you get some hate, dude.
First, that's number one. Number two, we're just talking about our opinions. You know what I mean? And just to see people get so offended by somebody else's opinion is so entertaining to me for some weird reason.
It is.
It's so entertaining, dude. It's like, we're just two guys talking about our opinions. You don't have to agree with it.
Somebody sent you a message a couple of days ago. It was quite long. I can't remember if it was on a post that you did, on a short, or on an episode, but it was long, and she did not agree with you. She did not like your answer. It was a long answer, but it wasn't like she didn't like it. She was more disagreeing with what you said, and she explained herself very eloquently on why she disagreed with you. But at the end of the comment, it was like, keep doing what you're doing. Like,
exactly.
We're pushing the envelope is what we're doing. And it's making women and men think, because now if you look at the stats, it was it's still very heavy women that listen to the podcast, but it's creeping up. It's creeping up quite a bit. Like, I want to say there's 25% of men that are listening to our podcast now.
That's pretty good. That's pretty
So
good. That's the whole point, and I think that challenging people, we've challenged each other.
mhm.
I've said this. I think this was on the last episode also. When my surroundings challenge me, I love it. I don't
Yeah.
like me some yes men. And when I say yes men, that includes women, obviously, but people
Mhm.
who just are like, yeah, they just tell you what you want to hear. That's no
Mhm.
fun. I like being challenged. Are you sure you're doing the right thing? Are you sure you should do this? And then I can, justify it. The other thing I love is when we'll post something and then it's like I do these true or false sometimes posts that I do, right?
I seen those. Yeah.
And then you'll have like 1,000 people say true and then one person say false. And then
Mhm.
like they're so convinced that that's the way. And I'm like, well, that's the thing. I'm not trying to provoke anyone, but when you have 1,000 people agreeing on one thing and just one person being like, no, that's not right. Well, then why is everyone else so it's just challenging and
Yeah.
challenging people to reflect on themselves, to reflect on their mindset is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. We're not.
And I do invite people that comment on the Pat's true or false. Don't look at the statistics of what most people are saying
Yeah,
before
go
you
with
do
your
yours.
opinion.
Like go with your instinct. Like if you
Yeah,
think that it is false and you're going to be two people on there, that's fine.
that's perfectly fine.
But it's you. Like don't like, oh, 91% said true. I better say true. Like
Exactly.
if we're not going to like look up your username and call you and be like, why the hell did you
Did
say
you say
true?
false?
You're
Right.
like, or say false. You're supposed
Yeah.
to agree. You're like, don't follow the sheep. Like, just like,
No.
if you want to be the black sheep, that's totally cool because you're very
Absolutely.
unique.
Yeah.
Pat and I were talking about some comments and some, some the people out there that the 7-page person that sent you 7 pages in the mail that time, like the different people. I really sat and thought about what we spoke of on the podcast, and sometimes when I hear you saying, I'm not going to read this, and just so you know, if you send me this, I'm not going to read this, and I'm not going to do this, and I'm not going to do that. I want to reiterate, if you hear Pat say that, he's not being insensitive to the situation, is because he gets a lot of stuff. But in the same regard, when you see something like that, for me, when I see someone that sends us, a novel as a text, as a comment, or they send me a message to my TikTok or to my Instagram, I really feel for that person.
Mhm.
I really feel for them. And I know you do too. And we talk about it off
100%.
the air. It's like the struggle, they have nobody, and they reached out to a complete stranger on the
Yeah.
internet and told them some of their deepest and most meaningful thoughts, because when they see us on this platform or on TikTok or on Instagram, we may be saying the things that they've been overthinking of
Exactly.
forever, and we
Yeah.
say that one sentence, just like you did to me, when they say that one sentence that resonates with them, and their brain's like, holy crap, this is your person,
Yeah.
and I get love stuff in my messages and stuff like that, people who love me, and just like you do, and it's like, I feel so bad for that person, because it's like, God, there's so many people in their
I don't
life
I
that
don't I
probably
don't
could love
feel
them.
I don't feel bad for the person. It's just like in my case, I just feel bad not being able to get to all the messages.
Yeah.
Like I'll give you an example. Let's say you go to the post office tomorrow, okay? And you've got 150 letters that came in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You go back home, you start opening them up. You realize you probably got through 20 during your day. You go back to the mail the next day, you have another 150.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got 300 letters that you just received, but you only opened up 40, and it just keeps accumulating. At one point, you just give up because you just can't keep up. And that's what I feel bad for. I feel bad for not being able to get to everybody's messages, because there's some in there that probably have taken the time to write a huge novel, hopefully trying to get an answer, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't see it. And I feel bad for that. That's where I feel bad.
Yeah,
It,
they're
it
lost.
sucks.
They're completely
Yeah.
lost, and
Which is why we have the community, though. That's why I put up the Discord, because now, at least on Discord, it's not just me. You have the whole community that's on there and they also want to participate and answer you if you're going, down the wrong road or something
Yeah.
like that. That's why
remember,
we have a community.
when you said your subscribers, they get access to you in a different way, and it's not because they're subscribing or paying a fee to be closer to you and stuff
It's
like that.
easier to filter. That's it.
It's
That's the only reason.
exactly it. It's this that next level. If you're going to pay someone $1 to be a subscriber, like if you go to our Patreon and subscribe to our Patreon for the Guided Podcast, we're going to be talking here in the next little while about having people on the show as guests. Like you
Mhm.
won't be able to partake in the show, But that's a level of, hey, we did our due diligence, we screened that person,
Yeah.
and it's going to be they're able to be a guest on the show. I think that's in itself that's really cool, because it's a weird world we live in. I was watching a thing on AI this morning, the new VO3 from Google. I think it's the Google Flow.
I saw that. That's the gorillas and Noah and all those
everything.
videos.
Like and there's this big thing now where content creators have been trying so hard to have their content to go viral. Like everyone wants to go viral, right?
Mhm.
And you want to have that post that reaches everyone. Now this is upping the ante a lot, because now people are writing prompts to make all these different things come to life. They look like, I don't know how many times you've been watching a post recently. I'm like, is this real? Like, then I kind of go to the bottom to see if it was AI generated and stuff. And I was reading something this morning that social media is going to get much worse now because of this stuff. Not worse, but it's going to be a lot more challenging to go viral and to do this and to that. So just letting you know, like, not going viral and just putting your heart out there and just posting something, you're going to reach maybe one person. Even if you reach one person that resonates with you and gives you a heart, whatever the case may be, don't worry about the heart. Don't worry about the numbers and the views. It's a platform for you to be able to put something out to the world that needs to get out of your head. And I think classic overthinkers need to get shit out of their heads.
Yes.
Like, say it to somebody. If you don't have the 5 people in your circle, if you don't have that one person you can text at 11 o'clock at night, it's okay. Then post something, do something. You may have 3 followers, but those 3 followers follow you for a reason, because you're helping them too. Yeah. So, life's too short. Like, just do it because you love it.
And we all start at 0 followers, by the way. I want to say that when you open that first account, you're at 0. So
Dante and myself have a platform basically together, because the platform started when I was doing Dante's Journey. We have 119,000 followers on TikTok. Okay. When I filmed Dante doing something in life, when he's dancing and singing and playing in the rain, for example, this is a classic example of when it was raining recently and he was outside and he was like jumping and flapping and just loving life because it was raining and he was outside. He's not doing it for the views. He's doing it because he's loving that moment.
He's just being himself, dude.
He's being himself. Channel some of your inner Dante.
There you go.
Be yourself. Laugh. That whole saying, live, what is it? Live, love, laugh, or love, live, laugh, whatever the fuck it is. Just live. Like, just live. And if someone doesn't like what you're doing, providing it's not illegal, if they don't like what you're doing, it doesn't matter. As long as you enjoy it, just keep on doing it. Look at us. I feel like I should have a...
That's a good close. Let's close it on the overthinking. I think, how should I say this? I think that overthinking is probably part of your story. It doesn't have to control the ending, though.
Right.
Okay. Because just because you're overthinking doesn't mean life is going to be shit. It's just like anything else. I think that awareness gives us power. And I'm going to end it on that.
Yeah. And remember, if you're alone and you're upset and you're overthinking, consider the source where it's coming from. Consider that person that's telling you that. That's the person you need to like question. It's not anyone else. It's you. You need to question you. Ask yourself, invest in a good mirror and set it in bed next to you when you're sitting there overthinking shit, and just look at yourself and be like, hey, I'm the person doing this right now. No one else. Well, she didn't call me and this person, blah, blah, blah. No, it's you. You're doing this right now. It's all you. So just remember that. Okay, well, great episode. I want to thank everyone for listening. As always, continue to comment because we love the comments. I want to thank our showrunner, Nea, for helping us stay on task, even though sometimes it doesn't work really well. But I want to thank her anyway. Pat, what do you have planned for this weekend? Do you have anything going on?
No. Not this weekend. That's because I did everything last weekend. It was Father's Day last weekend.
No, it's this weekend, dude.
You're right.
Oh, that's right. You went down.
Yeah. This weekend. Well, I celebrated it last weekend. So I went to my camping. Well, not my camping, my parents' camping. We celebrated Father's Day and my brother's 40th birthday, which was postponed because of medical issues.
Cool.
So this weekend, I'm just going to take it easy, bro. It's New Music Friday. So I'm going to listen to my music and
We're
Do
going
that.
camping today.
Nice.
Yeah, we're going camping today. It's our first camping trip of the year.
Love it.
Dante's super stoked to go camping. So we're going camping today and we're coming back on Sunday. So campfire and
I love it,
playing
dude.
cards, relaxing. And
Send me some pictures.
I definitely will. So anyone that's listening that's not subscribed, please go subscribe on our YouTube. Our YouTube is over 1,000 subscribers. We're thankful for every one of our subscribers. Continue to listen, continue to follow, send us comments. And as always, be kind to yourself and stop overthinking.
There you go.
I'm overthinking this whole episode right now.
What a great ending.
Okay.
Stop
Love you, brother.
overthinking.
Have a good
Love
day.
you too, man.
See ya.
Take care. Ciao.